Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Welcome to the KZGN News.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Are you wondering where things stand with Valley Air Service? We at KZGN were wondering also. So KZGN News correspondent Tanya Pyle went out to find out for us. She asked Indian Wells Valley Airport Director Scott Seymour, who said, "We still have no air service, but we are working with a consultant." He described a potential Valley Air Service as on course and under careful consideration. He attributed some complications to one dynamic FAA change to the first officer's co-pilot flying hours requirement. Seymour explained that before a co-pilot could earn flying hours by flying the right seat, now the right seat must already have commuter airline flight hours before they can co-pilot. The requirement, Seymour said, has created a pilot shortage. At this time, they're moving forward with a request for Department of Transportation's Small Community Air Service grants, although a previous request was denied. Also, they're working to secure more matching funds. In the meantime, he said they're talking to San Diego with 4 non-stops to D.C. KZGN learned Seaport Airlines, a small commuter contract airline, includes factors involving the 19 and 30-seat planes. SkyWest phased out their 30-seat fleet, and he projected the 19 and 30-seat planes will also be phased out. You won't see the American Airlines or United Airlines, United Express, or American Eagle, Seymour said. He predicts the situation will create a niche market for the 10 or less seat flight aircraft. Presently, approximately 100 aircrafts fly in and out of the Inyokern Airport daily. Their present flight traffic includes private planes, recreation craft, Federal Express, and UPS turboprops, as well as military traffic. But as for how long Seymour might anticipate negotiations, he said air service contracts generally run a year to a year and a half in course of a careful consideration before reaching a contract. Talks are about 1 year in. KZGN will keep you informed. And now the 25th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Today's topic, and another amazing one, is 2 different child raising theories, open range and helicopter. There's been some recent news about a couple with 2 kids in Maryland being attacked by Child Protective Services for letting their kids walk to a local park by themselves. The kids are a 10-year-old boy and his sister is 6 years old. The parents are both scientists by occupation, so these are well-educated people. The park the kids walk to is apparently about a mile walk from their home. Many people are either joining in criticism of the parents, and some are defending the parents. A final ruling has been handed down by Child Protective Services. They ruled, are you ready for this? They ruled the parents were guilty of unsubstantiated child endangerment. How can you be found guilty of something unsubstantiated? That would be like the judge in a court saying to a person in front of him with accusations of murder, well, the court charges of murder against you are unsubstantiated, but I'm going to find you guilty anyway. This is unbelievable. But let's talk about these 2 different child raising theories. First, open range theory. This theory allows children to be more free to be individuals, to learn more on their own. Critics of this theory say that this is dangerous to the kids, that they need close monitoring and guidance. Proponents of this theory say it allows kids freedom to learn different things. It teaches independence and strength to survive. This one kind of sounds kind of like something from the 1970s, the hippie theory. The second theory is the helicopter theory. This theory, in brief, states that parents stay very close to watch over their kids and watch over everything they do very closely. Critics of this theory believe that this smothers the children and doesn't allow enough freedom for exploration. Proponents of this theory say it helps the children in that the parents are heavily involved in their children's lives and create solid relationships with their children. I believe that maybe both theories have merit, but using them depends on a few issues. 1, environment. 2, age or maturity. 3, size of the family. A child's local environment must be considered in how much unsupervised activity they partake in. In dangerous localities, they probably need to be more closely watched. and supervised than in rural or suburban activities in neighborhoods. A child's freedom must be determined by their age. I could see using one theory in early years and using the other theory as they get older. A child's family size can also affect the theory used. The theory used with one child in the household might change with 3 or more kids in the same household. This is due to parents having to divide their time between more kids. Anyway, back to these particular parents being found guilty of unsubstantiated charges of child endangerment. As a result of the determination, they have had to sign a parenting agreement with Child Protective Services with a 5-year plan on how they will raise their kids. The parents on TV this morning on Fox News vow to continue to fight Child Protective Services on the basis that they have overstepped their authority. They have also stated that they believe in the open range theory and will continue to allow their kids to walk to the park. Now, I have not seen the plan, but how would you like the government coming in and making you sign a written plan on how to raise your kids? And that the state is going to monitor you for the next 5 years on how you're doing. I should note that in discussing this with my wife Shannon, she really thinks letting kids this age walk alone to a park is not good and is child endangerment. She says, "We have read too many examples of child predators lurking out there looking for a child to grab." In her example, I have to agree with her. As a baby boomer child, in my early years, I was raised in a rural area outside Cleveland, Ohio. All my friends and I just went all over with no fears, even at young ages. I remember riding my bike for miles down a road to my friend's house at the age of 5, and he'd do the same to come see me. Parents did not have the same fears we have today. Things are not the same today. There are too many predators out there. In conclusion, when it comes to parenting theories, what is right for one is not necessarily right for another. Many things need to be considered in determining how to raise a child. But for parents to have been determined guilty of unsubstantiated charges is ridiculous. Are the charges real or not? I'm sure this one isn't over. We'll be hearing more about this in the future. And I'm Tom Wicknick, and that's what I think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Stay tuned for Burroughs Bits when we come back.
From the Burroughs High School TV studio, I'm Brianna Davis with the Burroughs Video Bits for Thursday, March 5th, 2015. Here's a quick look at how the athletes of the school are doing from the Burroughs Athletics website. Congrats to senior wrestler Mary Marker, who finished 7th in the state tournament over the weekend. Relay for Life is coming up on April 17th. It will be held in the school gym, and if you raise at least $100, you get to stay and play games all night long. Pennies for Patients boxes have been placed in your 5th period class to raise money to help find cures and other services to leukemia and lymphoma patients. The class that raises the most money will win a pizza party. The choir and orchestra are going this week to Disneyland and Medieval Times, followed by band going to a festival including marching in a parade at Disneyland next Friday the 13th. Seussical the Musical opens next week and will be showing on the 13th, 14th, 20th, and the 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 or $10 for children 10 and under. The drama and music department has been very hard at work memorizing lines and building the set. After many rehearsals, this Dr. Seuss performance should be the best of our high school careers. The school's GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, has been discussing their upcoming May trip to the Long Beach Pride Festival and Parade. If you're interested in planning and going on this wonderful adventure, or even just buying a t-shirt, please feel free to come to the meetings on Mondays in Ms. Pool's room, I-4 at lunch. Last Saturday was the Sidewinder Motor Club's autocross racing event. Our director, Lindsay Hill, filmed the 30 racers going around the course and interviewed people who have been racing for over 40 years. For more information on this and other upcoming events, you can look up the Sidewinder Motor Club of the Indian Wells Valley and Nas China Lake on Facebook. Recently, I went on the college tour trip, and it was a privilege to be able to tour all the campuses that we visited. I would absolutely recommend this trip for any upcoming Burroughs High School students. As for me personally, the trip solidified my desire to get my master's degree from UCLA. Did you know that Burroughs High School has been selected as a 2015 Top AFS School by AFS USA, a leading intercultural learning provider? Schools recognized for this award have excelled in promoting global competency and working to prepare students to engage in an increasingly interconnected world. Remember, Burroughs, don't burrow. Have an outstanding rest of the week. For the Burroughs High School TV broadcast of Ridgecrest, California, this is Brianna Davis.
In Desert Empire Fairgrounds news, we asked manager Mike Lemming for an update. Lemming informed us a package was prepared in an effort to secure infrastructure and operational funds for our Desert Empire Fairgrounds. Lemming said Governor Brown has put back into the 2015-16 budget what he took away 3 years ago. However, to capture those funds, infrastructure needs must be detailed, coupled with a fund needed for operations. When KZGN reached Lemming to follow up, he had just received a $40,000 check he said was the last payment from separate funds set aside for the 2014-15 year. Lemming said that the $40,000 check doesn't mean they're out of the woods, but merely means some of the pressure is off at least through the fair, as long as we're cautious and make right decisions, Lemming said. Our 40-year-old fairgrounds is in unquestionable need of infrastructure repair and updating to energy-efficient appliances and fixtures to keep utility usage down. Lemming's team completed a Southern California Edison, PG&E, and Department of General Services sponsored survey to demonstrate infrastructure needs on top of their operational needs. Lemming said the way it works is based on savings from the bidding contractor, where the contractor is paid back from the demonstrated energy savings. The Department of General Services oversees all state-owned properties. The hope is that the materials mailed will provide the ammunition necessary to secure the necessary vote for funds in the 2015-16 budget. When asked how people can help keep their Desert Empire Fair going, Lemming said, "There's different ways people can support us. They can volunteer to help, they can visit the website and donate, but he said the best way is to come out and help support the events we have." In Washington news, the Reuters news service has reported a chaotic 3-month-long fight in Congress over funding the U.S. Domestic Security Agency finally ended Tuesday, but not before it highlighted House Speaker John Boehner's inability to halt the Republican Party's further descent into disorder. The House of Representatives approved full fiscal year funding for the Department of Homeland Security after attempts by conservative Republicans to make funding contingent on blocking actions on immigration last November by Democrat President Barack Obama, in which he bypassed Congress. The final bill passed by the House in a 257 to 167 vote was a Senate measure stripped of language attacking Obama's orders, which lifted the threat of deportation for millions of undocumented residents. The vote ended a fight that brought the DHS within hours of a partial shutdown last week and raised new concerns about Boehner's leadership. Obama has said he will sign the funding bill for the department, formed after the September 11, 2001 attacks to spearhead domestic counterterrorism efforts. Spending authority for the department was scheduled to end at midnight on Friday. In the end, 75 Republican House members joined 182 Democrats to end the impasse and approve the Senate funding bill. It should be noted, while the Republican staunch conservatives lost this fight, that there still is a federal court order blocking the implementation of the president's immigration executive order allowing undocumented immigrants to register. The court made the order to allow pending suits brought by 26 states to continue through the court process. Stay tuned for sports and weather when we come back. Welcome back, and now we go over to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Well, folks, tonight will be clear. Be a little chilly. The low will be around 34 degrees. South-southeast wind around 5 miles per hour. Friday will be sunny with a high near 73. West-southwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Friday night will be clear. Low will be 41. North wind around 5 miles per hour. Saturday will be sunny with a high near 75. Calm wind. Saturday night will be clear with a low around 42. Southeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday will be sunny with a high near 78. Northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Sunday night will be mostly clear with a low around 44 degrees with light and variable wind. And on Monday, sunny with a high near 79. Northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. That is your local forecast. And now back to Tom Whitnick.
Thanks a lot for that weather, Keith. And now sports with Tom Hecht.
And a very pleasant Thursday afternoon to everybody. Local sports note, Saracoso baseball in action today against Rio Hondo College. And then on Saturday, Saracoso travels to Victor Valley College. All right, let's take a look at college basketball last night. Notre Dame plays very well. They go to Louisville and beat the Cardinals 71-59. Now, Notre Dame definitely is a team that must be reckoned with when it comes to the NCAA tournament. So, Fighting Irish fans, your team has peaked. Now, the foot line with that game, the team didn't get into the Louisville area until about 2:30 in the morning. The night, or actually the day of the game, if you want to look at it that way. So, what a job by Notre Dame. All kinds of travel connection problems with the weather in the South. All right, it was Miami last night beating Pitt 67-63 at Pitt. They call Pitt the zoo, the court. And those teams are bubble teams. So that might be a win that would get Jim Larionga's team into the NCAA tournament. Jamie Dixon and his Panthers on the outside right now looking in. However, they've got the tournament left, and that tournament may determine whether teams that are on the bubble or on the outside of the bubble have a chance to get in. Ohio State a winner last night. They're now number 25. They beat Penn State. 24 Providence beat Seton Hall. South Florida on the outside looking in beats UCFF. UCLA, Bruins playing real well right now. They beat USC. They have won 4 games in a row. They beat Washington, Washington State, and now they beat USC. They had to do that, though. They'll be seeded number 4 next weekend for the big Pac-12 tournament. The Bruins are going to have to perform well at that Pac-12 tournament to get in the tournament. All right, number 4, Duke. Big winner last night. They demolished Wake Forest 94-51. If there's a team that can beat Kentucky, which is 30-0, it might be Duke. North Carolina State Wednesday beat Texas Pan Am. In the Big South Conference, that's another division with an automatic bid. Longwood out of Virginia, Gardner-Webb out of North Carolina, UNC Asheville all win, and they're still alive for a potential berth into the NCAA tournament. Ohio Valley Conference, Morehead State, Missouri State get wins. The winner of that conference gets an automatic bid. These are the teams that when you do your sheets in about 2 weeks, you're going to see some of these guys on it. Vanderbilt a winner last night. They're in the top 25. Michigan State also top 25. They defeat Purdue at East Lansing. Okay, NFL note. Peyton Manning says he will play next year. $4 million pay cut. Props to Peyton Manning. He just wants to play. He loves the game. What's money to Peyton Manning? After you're a millionaire about 50 zillion times, what does it matter after that? I think that's what Peyton Manning is probably thinking to himself right now. He's probably, I think he'd play for free. He loves the game that much. All right, the Lakers lost a heartbreaker at Miami last night. The Lakers had a 3-game winning streak going into Sunday. They lost to Oklahoma City by 5. Then they lost by 1 over in Charlotte. And then they go down a little further south and lose a very close game in the last minute to Miami. All right, the Cavaliers win last night. They're peaking. James with 29. Kevin Love 22 points. Hornets a winner. The Suns start to recover. They had lost 11 of 14. They've won 2 in a row now. They beat the Magic last night in Orlando. Celtics beat the Jazz on a last-second shot, 85-84. The Nuggets, without Brian Shaw, they fired him 2 days ago. They get a win over the Wolves in Minneapolis. The Thunder wins. The Thunder have not had Kevin Durant the last couple games. They're number 8 seed. Now remember, only 8 teams get in from the West. The Thunder last year, the defending Western Division champions right now, will need to play well to make the playoffs. All right, the Grizzlies beat the Rockets 102-100. James Harden, 18 points in that game. Now, in that Thunder game, Russell Westbrook put up 44 points. He has his 4th triple-double of the season. He's starting to really peak after being injured. And Ray Allen, well, Ray Allen, I thought was retired, didn't play this year, 39 years old, 19 years in the NBA, one of the greatest three-point shooters to ever live, actually holds the record for the most threes ever in the NBA, 400 more than the guy at number 2, Reggie Miller, former UCLA Bruin, Indiana Pacer. Now, Ray Allen actually is being courted by about 4 or 5 different NBA teams as we go down the stretch. Well, he announced yesterday that he will not play this season at all, but he's not saying that he's going to retire. So this, as they called it on ESPN, this charade may continue. Definitely a Hall of Famer, but 39, hey, if they want you right now, you better go. I wouldn't wait till you're 40, but we'll see what happens. Guy's in great shape still. All right, folks, that's your sports for this Thursday. Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only community TV station.